hey, I found the thing underneath the passenger seat. What can I ask what it is? He says, well, so I bought this car from a friend of mine, and he bought it new. And unfortunately, he passed away. He was he was my best friend in life. And I promised him that and while I owned the car, I would always have him ride with me. So those are his ashes. And he forgot to take out his buddy before he shipped the car to us.
Real cars, real guys, and real talk. Live from the gearbox at Unique Classic Cars. Welcome to Motorhood. And we're back. How's that sound? Does that sound like Bob Uecker?
Maybe, yeah.
A little bit. That was like...
You need a few more cocktails.
That's what we need. Sometime, and by the way, I did check the laws on that. We absolutely can do whatever we want here as far as consuming anything.
Really?
I'm not even making that up. The old reason with broadcast was, while you were in control of the board...
Yes.
And with the FCC and stuff, you could not be consuming alcohol.
Right, because you got to hit the dump button or that kind of thing, too?
I've actually got drunk on the air with the Highway Patrol and the Blue Earth County Sheriff's Department, but I had to have somebody brought in to operate the board while I was doing it.
That sounds awesome.
It was fantastic. And the funny thing is, after it was over, they were like, we're going to bring you home. And I made them stop at B-Dubs.
Attaboy.
I was like,
there's always room for one more.
We're going to talk today about some super sick cars and a truck that you say that's going to blow my mind.
Yeah, I know you don't even know this truck exists. So.
Yeah, it's cool, and you sent pictures out yesterday. We're going to get to them in just a bit, but we did talk last week about maybe doing some sim racing, and sure enough, we got together at our producer's house, and we got it done.
We did get it. Well,
that was my initiation.
Of us got it done.
I tried.
Yeah,
I tried.
I remember we were talking about the potential for boasting, or I was talking about it. So, do you feel that you earned boasting rights?
No, I didn't. But that was my first crack at it.
Sure.
In like almost 14 years. It was Gran Turismo 7.
Yes.
By the way, I believe. Dylan, was that right? Was it 7?
7?
It was 7. So we were running time trials, which I like because you can actually see what you would call a ghost in front of you. So that's your best time, so you're always chasing him.
Correct.
Right? And I have a little problem with corners. He's busy on GT.
That's going to be a hard
Oh, no, I didn't even say, oh, shit.
I wouldn't call that a little problem, but yes.
So you look at the simulator, and it was a 55-inch television directly in front of us, but then Dylan breaks out the VR.
Yes.
Right. Mm-hmm. And I can tell you this, that kind of set me off a little bit, and it's terrifying. Yeah. Because he actually has video of me going into a wall.
Yeah, we were laughing our asses off it because, and obviously when you're immersed with the thing on your head, you don't realize it, but we're watching your body involuntarily. When you're getting close to the wall, you're bracing and you're like doing this and you're jumping. And even Dylan pointed out the one time you went like T-bone the wall. Your head literally went like this, anticipating. Oh, and when you're in it, you don't realize you're doing it. But we were standing there watching you. It's like, man, it's crazy.
As I piled into that wall, I honestly, the thing that crossed my mind was, so this is what people see as they're about to die.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Seriously, hitting a wall at that speed, it was insane. Mm-hmm. My problem was gassing going into the corner.
Right.
But I thought I would slow down enough. And by the way, there was a couple of guys that commented on that video of you driving. Oh, but this is going to be a chance for you to defend yourself. They were like, good job braking, but he needs to hit the gas a little bit more as he's accelerating into and then back out of the corner.
Out of it, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's you're right. Yeah, accelerating out especially, and but there's only so much before you break traction, so there's that feather fine line of you gas it too much and then you're spinning out while you're still turning, so that's why the
reality of it is real though, because you can the car fights you.
Oh yeah.
Right? And you can feel the rumble. He has a rumble seat. It's all there, and you kind of get the feel, so you can pick out any car. And you can get the classics behind us.
Yeah, it's crazy after driving like the car that we did, and then you go back and there's a 70 Charger and a 77 Trans Am, and the most you get was a 4-speed, right? So when you drive them with a stick, you're going whatever 91 miles per hour in a 4-speed, and you can hear the car screaming,
Literally.
and you want 2 more gears, and they're not there.
Right, yeah. I was driving an automatic, by the way, because I was like, I just got to concentrate on staying on the road.
That's what most pansies say. Yes, I understand. Yeah.
Were you using the paddle shifters?
No. I was trying to play even field with you. Yeah,
making it fair, right?
Yep,
making it fair.
So next time you want to come over and do it like a real car guy man would.
Yeah.
We're gonna go ahead and switch it to manual transmission, and you got to shift and yeah.
Here's the deal, though. I was thinking. I said if we do this on a weekend, like a Friday or Saturday night, we could be down here.
Oh, that's right. You wanted to have a pajama party, you weirdo.
I'm not kidding. I would, if his wife would let us, I'd be like, we're just going to camp out right here. Yeah. We're going to have a good time. We're going
to every like 6 or 8 hours, just throw some water bottles down at us, and we'll be good. Some pizza
or anything else, right?
Yeah.
The funny thing is driving home, because we only had a couple hours, but driving home that night. The following day was my daughter's birthday, and as I'm driving by Target, I kid you not, I was tempted to stop in and pick up a PS5.
Right.
But the reason I didn't was because it was Clara's birthday the next day, and I bought her a Oculus Meta Quest 3, right?
Nice.
Which is one of the VR headsets, and I have to really limit her playtime on it. But she loves it, right? Her friends have them. And the funny thing is, when she opens it up the following day, the only thing that's running through my mind is, this is going to be great for my racing after you go to bed, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And she's got the thing on, and she goes, yeah, I know what I'm doing. My friends have these. Everything's fine. And then she gets through the progression as she's setting it up, and she says, I can't really read all this. I think it's in cursive.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, no. I put the headset on, and she's got it set for Arabic.
Or Arabic.
Arabic, yes. or
which one was it?
Or I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
Maybe it was Mandarin.
Sure.
I don't know. It was something that I couldn't even decipher.
Oh, wow.
Right? So I had no idea what I was doing, and it took me forever to figure it out. Wound up just doing a factory reset and starting all over. But she was like, it's English. I'm like, that's not English. Well, what am I paying the school for?
Yeah.
Right?
Well, you can't teach. They can't write cursive, and they can't read it. My daughter was all the way through high school. I've literally, what little cursive she does know, I've taught her, because the schools don't. What happens when you buy your first house, and you got to sign on the mortgage, or you got to sign on or any other legal document? Are you going to print? Are you going to just draw an X? What are these kids expected to do? You got to know how to sign your name.
Is there a signature required like that, or is it all e-doc? But even then, you have to. Right?
You can do some made-up one or whatever, but how do they not teach kids to have a signature? I mean, that's part of your identity.
The thing about that is, I believe if you go back in this country about 150 years, there are documents for land and everything that are signed by an X.
Yeah, right.
And they could literally decipher the guy's X and distinguish who he was. Can you imagine if we were doing that for cars? Just let me give you my X. Right? We got some cool cars. You sent this email a couple of days ago, and I love this time of year because, I mean, we can, throughout the year, get cool cars all the time, but virtually half of the country puts the cars away for the year.
Sure.
Right? But now it's just starting to come back to life. Things are warming up. And you sent 3 in an email the other day, and we're going to talk about them, including, let's just start with that Mustang on the top.
Yeah, one of the things that I like to do is I've always got a penchant for, I like clean, low-mile, hard-to-find stuff. You know who else likes that? Everybody. So everybody wants what someone doesn't have, and they want to tell the story. And again, it all comes back to the story. So, story on this Mustang, it's an 07 Shelby GT500, the first year of when Ford brought the Shelby moniker kind of back on the Mustang platform. It's an 07 GT500 convertible. It's got 1,600 miles on it. It's triple black. That car will be coming in here with these other ones here, probably middle or end of next week. I would say they should be here. All 3 of these cars are coming out of Texas, and it was a dang good find to be able to get into some of these. So that GT500, of course, is 500 horsepower, and when that car first came out, that was welcome back. We finally got some cars with some power again.
How long was the delay between Shelby bringing those back?
Oh man. I mean, the Shelby name was used on different things.
Sure, yeah.
But on the GT500s, oh my gosh, I mean, I'm trying to think of the last year. 69, 70? 70.
Wow.
70 maybe?
Does being a convertible
Well,
make
no, there was a GT350 in 84. That was the anniversary car. Yeah, so say it's been a long time.
Around there. It's been a while. Does being a convertible make it more rare?
Production-wise, I'm not really sure, but there's you have the guys that are just diehard.
Oh God, yeah.
They don't want a convertible,
Right.
and those that do, and they're very strict one way or the other.
That is the honest to God truth. You'll know, especially you learn that selling. You love them or you hate them.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
You're going either way with that.
Exactly.
Can we talk about that Prowler?
Yeah. So 99 Prowler coming in, bright yellow car. Sexy, man. These cars are sexy. And we were talking about this the other day. The Prowler, I mean, it's got that. When that car came out, it knocked the socks off of all the. Yeah, I remember reading the article in Motor Trend when that car came out, and Chrysler was praised for the styling and everything else. But the thing that bugged the crap out of everybody, it's a 6-cylinder, and everybody's like, why couldn't they put a bigger motor in that car so the power matched the looks, you know?
Right.
And, these cars they're more popular now than they were new. Number one, they were way more expensive new at that time especially. But now, so I've got this one coming in. This one's only got 11,000 miles on a 99. Bright yellow, black top, black interior. They're fun to drive. They absolutely turn heads. And again, you got a really cool looking sports car that not too many people have. You don't see them out on the road very often. And I mean, this thing's going to be probably $35,000. I mean, that's a cheap toy in the grand scheme of things.
Oh, sure. When they're designing these cars, you might know the answer to this. Why did they go with a 6-cylinder?
Well, you think back to 99. I mean, other than a Viper motor, and of course the way that the car is designed, the space and everything else.
Sure.
So it's there were a bunch of reasons, but
I'm going to divulge some information here. I love yellow cars.
Yeah?
I do, man. That color. I mean, I love that color even in the Camaros that we have. We actually have. We still do. We have a 69 down there. Convertible.
Yeah.
You're chomping at the bit to get to this truck, aren't you?
Well, only because I know I'm about to enlighten you.
I love this.
So in 1991, GM decided to, hey, you know what? We got a couple of mid-size platform trucks that, or SUVs, before they're even called SUVs. Let's make them fast as hell and see what happens. So they did. They came out in 91 with the GMC Syclone.
Limited edition GMC Syclone. Technology that speaks for itself. In fact, your GMC truck dealer would like to show you only one more Syclone feature.
Also, the SUV, the two-door SUV equivalent to this would have been the GMC Typhoon. The Syclone is, we have one of these trucks coming in. Now, we've been in business, going on almost 20 years. This is the first one of these we've ever had. We've had a couple of Typhoons over the years. We've never had a Syclone. This is the fastest production truck, and it held that title for 30 years. 30 years. This was the fastest production truck.
That's crazy.
It blew the doors off everything. So 0 to 60 in 4.3 seconds. And basically, it's the GMC version of an S10 pickup. And people look at, oh, that's cute. It's a cool looking, and they're all black. It's the only color you could get them in. And they only built like 2,900 of them. And it's a 4.3 turbocharged V6. So to your point, again, 6 is greater than 8.
We're going to go with that.
Yeah, we're going to roll with that. I'm totally rolling with that.
I'm on board.
0 to 60 at 4.3. And the other thing is, these are all-wheel drive. So when you gas it, she just hunkers down and goes. 35-65 traction split, 65 to the rear, 35 to the front, and they launch like a rocket.
It's funny you bring this up because last summer I took a call from a guy that was looking for one of the Typhoons, right? And they're rare, right?
Oh, yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
So this is along that same line. It's just the truck version.
Comparison, just to give you an idea, George. So in 91, the Chevy Corvette.
Yeah.
Out-of-the-box Corvette was 0 to 60 in 5.3. So this little pickup truck was a full second faster 0 to 60. Now, you think, 1 second, big deal. But in the world of 0 to 60 times, 1 second is an eternity.
Right.
I mean, so.
For real, yeah.
Yeah. So can you imagine it's 1991, 92, you got your arm out the window and you're in your Syclone. And up comes a guy in a Corvette that just knows he's going to eat your lunch.
And you know how I have a problem with that, right?
And then you want to talk about an FU truck.
Yeah.
And now you just blew doors on this guy's Corvette, and he is pissed because you're driving a Sonoma, and you just blew his doors off.
You're getting me a little lathered up just talking about this truck.
I know.
When is it going to be here?
Next week.
Next week. It should be here. We'll get some video. And you know what? Is this one that we can get out and maybe take for a rip?
We definitely, as long as the roads are dry, we'll definitely have to take that for a rip. Maybe we should record it for the Motorhood listeners.
Well, we talked about that because your Escalade, we wanted to match up against some of the trucks that we've had in here, and we'll figure it out at some point.
Oh, yeah.
But we have to take that out and get that going because I think that'd be a fun ride to see from the inside. I've never felt it. I can't believe I've never ridden in the vehicle.
Me?
I've never felt it. I knew. It's like
I got to get you on those at least once a time. I've never felt it.
I've never felt it.
I think that's a lie.
It's like I was going to say something else. Well, you got to develop an eye and a feel for things, like meat. I have to tell you this story.
Man.
I have to tell you this story. Are you as particular when it comes to grilling and just doing anything with meat as I am when it comes to the actual cut?
Cooking it 100%.
Yeah.
The actual cut about 99%. So yes.
Here's and I love my wife. Can I preface all of this with I love my wife?
Okay? Yeah, we both do, for sure.
Because without her, I'd be lost. I remember because I worked with her for many, many years, right, when we were on the air together. And I remember the first day I got up and she was on with her career in commercial construction, and I wanted to put my hands on the steering wheel and just cry because I didn't know what to do because every day she was like there with my itinerary, where you're going, what you're going to do, and all that stuff. The one thing I don't like her to do is buy meat. and for some reason, I think she loves to go grocery shopping on the weekends because I think, in all honesty, it's a chance to kind of get away, get out of the house. You know, the kids and I are there, and she can kind of relax and do some shopping and things like that. But I cannot never, ever send my wife out to buy meat because I'm super picky about it. It drives me absolutely insane. A great example, New York strip is my favorite cut. Right? Okay. I like that, a little bit leaner, not quite as fatty as the ribeyes, but
nice and marbled usually.
Send her out, and she just grabs the first pack that's sitting there. Doesn't look at it, right? I mean, the trim, the marbling, all of that. And then when it gets home, I'm like, it looks great, thanks. What are you going to say?
Yeah, right.
What are you going to say? But
meantime, you're slipping it underneath the table to the dog when you're eating.
Do you ever just cook a steak at night and just eat it?
Well, yeah. I do. If I'm cooking it, I'm eating it.
I do it all the time because of the staggered lifestyle that we lead.
Sure.
I think a lot of guys are used to that. And last night, I'm doing exactly that. I'm like, the kids went to bed. I'm going to sear up cast iron pan. I'm just going to sear up a New York. And I also have a cutting board.
Oh, right.
That's that I bought during COVID, one of those stupid purchases, right, that we all had. And I haul that around the house in front of whatever television or whatever I'm doing, even if I'm working on stuff for the podcast or anything else. And I'll bring my whole cutting board, stack some olives on there and a steak. And I made it out to the living room. She was just doing some work last night. And I sat down and I'm like, damn, I forgot my fork. And she looks at my pile of meat and all the rest of this food.
Like you're a caveman.
Yeah, and she's like, do you really even need one? And I'm like, yes. That's becoming a thing, by the way. It's like I see guys doing it all the time. And I'm like, it makes perfect sense.
The meat situation at my house is different because, I referenced before, so I grew up a farm kid. My wife absolutely 100% polar opposite.
Yeah.
City kid. No country, none of it. So I grew up, we always had a freezer or freezers in the house full of meat that was butchered from cattle that we raised or, whatever. So all growing up, my mom or dad did not go to Hy-Vee or whatever the store was. You didn't go to the store to buy meat. I mean, that just wasn't, maybe a turkey or a chicken.
Right.
But never, ever, ever, like literally my entire childhood, did they go to the store to buy beef or pork because we raised those or my dad, raised them,
Sure.
or my family did, or whatever. So we always had, right from the butcher to the freezer. So now fast forward, I've got a couple of freezers at home, and I've got, there's beef and there's pork, and now after this last November, there's venison, and they're in butcher paper, all the white butcher paper. So you just see, and it's a stand-up freezer. So you open the door, and it's just top to bottom white paper. That's what she sees. And I'm like, she's like, what do you want for dinner tonight? I'm like, oh, she doesn't touch the steaks.
Right.
There's no grilling. That she knows that. I know that. That's not a thing. So then that leaves some of the roasts and that, that sort of thing. So I said, well, why don't you grab a roast, put it in, and do this, and, throw it in the crock pot, which I personally cringe a little bit because as dumb as it sounds, a crock pot dries them out. So I'm like, just do not overcook it. Well, what do I grab? I said, well, it says right on the package what it is. I said, well, I don't know what the difference between an arm roast, a chuck roast, a sirloin tip roast, all this stuff. And I'm like, to me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, get out of the way. I'll grab it, but she's not used to that, right?
No.
The thing that drives me nuts the most, buying hamburger in town. And you remember the whole, was that 10 years ago already, the red slime conspiracy and all that stuff? It's like, I loathe store-bought hamburger. Even the 95% lean stuff that's $12 a pound or whatever it is, it's stupid.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, I don't like store-bought meat. I just don't.
Because
of how I was raised.
That hamburger in a tube, I think there's ammonia and all other kinds of things that's, I'm not a big fan at all.
Right.
I'm super particular about my meat.
You should be.
Right. Speaking of particular, this is a topic that came up as we move into the busier season now. Consignment vehicles. Guys, they want to start to move vehicles this time of year, right? It's just like it's going to heat up. What would be your best advice for somebody that's going to sell a vehicle on consignment? Because I've been through this with people 1,000 times. You'll make more money on the car if you have some of the work done that our techs would advise you to have before it hits the floor.
Right.
Versus as is.
Yeah, because, let's face it, these are all old cars. And I'm the first one to say there is no such thing as a perfect car.
No.
In fact, if someone calls, especially when I was selling or more hands-on with every car deal, as soon as someone told me, they'd call up and say, oh, yeah, I got this car to trade and it's perfect. I'm not being cynical, but I know they're lying.
Right.
Because no such thing exists. It's not perfect. Stop saying that. Never in any of our ads of the 200 cars we have in stock at all time, you can read every single one. You can watch every single video that Jay does. Not one time will you hear the word perfect.
Right.
Because it doesn't exist.
No.
Okay? We don't expect anyone to make their car perfect because you can't. You spend $1 bazillion and it still wouldn't be there. But when somebody sends pictures or they pull up out front with the car and they've got this such and such a car, we go around it with them and kind of consult, hey, here's kind of what we think, where these have been selling. And they'll say, well, yeah, here's kind of what I was thinking. And, normally if there's something that's not right, I don't know. Maybe a quarter panel, maybe the car has beautiful paint, but the quarter panel got scraped pulling into the garage.
Right.
Or maybe the car looks fantastic, but the tires are from 1979.
Right.
So I always encourage people, you don't have to go crazy, and not everything has to be perfect. The clock in the dash doesn't have to work.
Right.
We'll disclose that when we advertise it.
Sure.
But you don't have to spend the money to fix it. But what I always caution people is don't let a repair that would cost you $500 to fix cost you $2,000 on the sale price of the car, because now flip your hat around and now you're the buyer, right?
Right.
And you see the quarter panel on this car has got some damage to it. If you're the buyer, you're going to ask for a bigger discount than what it actually might cost to repair, because you want to be safe. You don't want to get stung fixing something and whatever. Yeah. So, and if you're asking $30,000 for it, and the buyer says, well, I'd give you 28 because I got to fix that quarter panel.
Right.
Well, now you're losing $2,000, but even though we might have given you a quote and it was only $500 or $600 to actually fix it,
right?
Which one's better? And I get it. People, when they're selling their car, usually the last is because sometimes the motivation is they might need the money for something else.
Sure.
So I know a lot of times it's hard to spend more money on the car that you're trying to sell, but in that situation, it's penny wise, pound foolish. Don't let the $500 repair cost you $2,000 on the sale price.
The math never lies on that.
Right.
The one thing too, if the car has AC and it's something as simple as a charge, I would do that. Or if the RTACs tell you we can probably get this running for X amount of dollars, working air conditioning
is worth the money.
Is worth the money.
Yes.
When you're trying to sell.
100%.
Speaking of vehicles that are coming in, you got a story for me on strange things that we find, because I threw up a 29 Ford last week that blew up because it had a strange Tupperware container with a speaker hanging over the engine. I had talked about it, and it was what it was. It turns out an old school PA system.
Right, he had it hooked to his CB or something.
Yeah,
right?
He did literally.
Yeah.
He had a PA switch on the CB radio that was in. But again, I've learned from the text: don't push buttons or touch anything.
Not unless you know. Not unless you know what they do.
Unless you know what they do. But we do find odd things in vehicles when they come in. Tell me about it.
One of the most strange things I think we've ever had is we traded a Saab Sonnet, which you probably haven't had an experience with one of those. So it's a kind of a funky looking little car, niche car, but it was a Saab Sonnet. It came into trade from us from the East Coast. This was years ago. And, kind of a funky little car, and we were dinging on it in the shop, and it needed a few things, and that's fine. And then it went to detail. And literally as it was in detail, the gentleman that traded it, this is now a week later or whatever, and he says, hey, he said, I feel terrible, and this is going to sound pretty weird. I'm like, okay. He goes, I left something that's pretty important to me under the passenger seat. Can you please go back? Do you still have the car? Yes. Right. Can you please go out underneath the seat? I'm not going to tell you what it is, but just if you can go out there, there's like a small little jar underneath the seat that means a lot to me. If you could tell me that's there, call me back. So I go out there, and I look in, and here, sure enough, I reach underneath there, and it's like a baby food jar, small little glass jar, and it's full of something I don't really know. And so I go back up front. I call the guy, and I said, hey, Bill or whatever his name was. Hey, I found the thing underneath the passenger seat. What can I ask what it is? He says, well, so I bought this car from a friend of mine, and he bought it new. And unfortunately, he passed away. He was he was my best friend in life. And I promised him that and while I owned the car, I would always have him ride with me. So those are his ashes.
Are you
Those
kidding
are his
me?
ashes in the baby food jar, and he always rode with me. So
how cool is that, though?
It's cool. Look, I have goosebumps.
I know.
It was like cool and crazy and creepy and all the things all mixed together. But and he forgot to take out his buddy before he shipped the car to us. So we had to we shipped. You
sent it back.
We sent it back for him, and
that is a great story.
Isn't
though.
That nuts?
Honestly, take them along for the ride.
Yep.
That's an awesome story. We find all kinds of, I would say, odd stuff once in a while. It's like, I would advise people, if you are bringing, sell it on consignment, trade, whatever, make sure you run through the vehicle, because if we find that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we've also ran into, I think, one of the worst ones. I mean, you see evidence of mice all the time.
Sure.
So now we're almost like, no big deal. There was one big 62 Chrysler. Now, I don't know how this could possibly happen, but same thing, gets here, goes through the shop, the guys are inspecting it, he opens the trunk. There is a skeleton of a cat in the trunk.
Like a legit skeleton?
Like nose to tail.
Like he died in there and
it was gone. It was a pile of bones laying there.
How do you not notice that?
I don't. Well, and it's these guys. They put them in the barn and they forget about them. So I don't know. I have no idea how the thing got in there. But
that is insane.
Yeah, that was pretty kind of gross. That was gross. It was a pile of fur and bones. Everything else was gone.
So he must have just what was the car? Was a what now?
62 Chrysler, big boat, 4-door.
Do you think the cat was like, you know what? My time's up. I'm going out in style.
Right.
All right.
Yeah, so that happened.
That's cool. Again, it's going to, things are picking up. We were talking this morning before coming on the air here. A lot of exciting things coming throughout the summer. So follow us online, because we have roll-ins every month, right? And we're going to have another rib competition. Yes,
ribs and rides. That's going to be coming up. That's awesome.
That's fun.
I mean, I'm telling you, it's worth the drive. If you're out of state, you don't have to be in Minnesota to come to this thing. Right. It's worth the drive. The food is awesome. It smells amazing. And oh, by the way, there's a crap ton of cool cars inside and outside for that event. So Live music, blues. I mean, it's awesome.
And you hooked up with the guys that drive the really old cars. And we're looking forward to this because this is going to be a nationwide thing. They're all coming to town and they're bringing them.
Yep, nationwide Model Ts are going to be here in July. Just yesterday was talking with the regional Cadillac and LaSalle Club. We're trying to get an event here hosted here as well, so stay tuned. That might be coming too.
Just fun stuff, man. I can't wait. I wish it would warm up because it's the middle of February, and after mid-50s and sunshine in southern Minnesota here in January, we woke up to 35 below zero wind chills this morning.
Oh, it's disgusting.
It was 11 below when I left the house, and it was 8 o'clock.
Yep. Yeah, it was so cold that even my husky looked at me this morning and went like, this sucks.
He's like, no, I'll pass.
Yeah.
We're going to, because earlier this week I said, let's take that caddy out and take it for a rip.
Yes.
And we'll get some video. We're going to do that, by the way, but Mother Nature was not cooperating. We had some really bad roads.
Yeah, just slippery roads and stuff. We got to get on that, though. You don't even know this yet, but there's a gentleman coming tomorrow to look at it that might be interested in buying it. So
then we're definitely going to have to get that done.
Yep.
All right. We'll be back. And again, when in doubt, gas it.